One Punch Man, like, do you know what? At first I was really struggling with it. I was like, what is this, man? Like, this is like the first few episodes. I'm like, it's just this boring guy.
Hey, did you like the crab monster thing?
Yeah,
That was so funny.
there's like this boring guy who just defeats everyone with one punch, and he's not that bothered about it. And I was like, I didn't really get where the story was going. And the first season, it doesn't really go anywhere. Then the second season, they kind of take it a bit further. And spoilers, by the way. And yeah, like one of the things I started to see was like when I started to deep it, I was like, okay, what's in this? Like, what am I seeing? I really had to like think like, what am I actually seeing in this that's at play here? And what I started to notice is they've got like the ranking system of the superheroes, right? So you've got like S rank heroes, A rank, B rank, C rank, and then like within that it's like C rank 1, C rank 2, all the way down to like 100, and then same for all of the things. And it's like people saying like, oh yeah, like if you're an S rank hero, then it means like you must be so powerful and so special and this. And because this guy, what's his name? Saitama is like originally he's like C rank. They're like, oh no, he must be cheating. Like he can't be a proper hero.
Yeah.
He can't be that good because he's just a rank C. And look at the way like society like plays this out for us. Like, oh, you know, someone over there who's got 1 million followers on Instagram, like they must have more social like clout. That's what I was looking for. Social clout, right? And it's like, oh yeah, like that person, like if they're, you know, like for example, right, if you see a let's just use like a doctor on Instagram and they've got 1 million followers, people are gonna be like, oh, this guy, what he says is gospel. Versus like if you go to your actual doctor who probably doesn't have Instagram, they may be way more fucking knowledgeable and better at what they do, but people don't see that because they're just looking at like, oh, where do you fit in these made up rankings that society is trying to give to us through like social media and stuff like that. And even with like, you know, business and success, people will see someone who's more successful is like someone who's got a bigger business or earns more money or is a CEO of this place versus like someone who's, I don't know, like a manager of their local supermarket. Who's to say like what's the comparison, you know? And it's like we've got this made up ranking system that we use, and it's funny because like Saitama is obviously like in the whole point of the show is that he can finish everyone with just one punch. So he's the most powerful person on the planet. And you've got all these other people with all these special powers, and like you got Genos with like he's like basically a cyborg, and he can just get anything done to him to make him stronger, and he still can't be stronger than Saitama. And it's like it's showing us that like, yeah, don't underestimate people based on one, how they look, because Saitama doesn't look like a hero. It's just like this bald egg of a head in a stupid yellow outfit. It's true though, isn't it?
The red gloves and the yellow outfit.
Doesn't look like a hero, and he doesn't categorize. He doesn't fit into the social structure, the rankings as a top hero. Therefore, we must discredit him.
I love
like,
that.
How stupid is that?
So one of the things I love the most about One Punch Man is it's the personification of the most powerful person in the world is the one who desires nothing. He doesn't need shit. He went to the fucking grocery store and then started playing video games with King after. Yeah. He's like, Charlie, you want to play games? He's like, oh, go on then. And they're playing against each other. It's so funny. Like, he's so nonchalant, doesn't give a shit. It's like when you said to me, oh, he's got to be blasé about women. And I was like, fuck you, how do you do that? I never understood it, but that's how he is with this. Yeah. My throat, I'm really hearing how different my voice sounds when I'm not feeling well. But yeah, the best squeaky. He's really, I just love how he just so nonchalant. Like, just not bothered about anything. You know that massive reptile monster, the Sea King or something like that? He's fucking everyone up. And Saitama walks up to him. He's talking and he punches him. And then he just walks off and there's like raining guts and blood and all that. He's like, oh, I forgot to get eggs.
Yeah. Oh, he's up shit. I love that. And do you know what I love as well, man? I love the relationship that Genos has with Saitama, because he like calls him master. He's like, I'm your disciple. And there's one of the, I think it's one of the like special episodes in season 1 where Genos and Saitama sat like on this bench in the park. And Genos says, like, oh, master, we need to get some beef from the supermarket to have with our lunch. And Saitama's like, nah, we don't have to worry about it, man. We got lettuce. And Genos is like, what do you mean we got lettuce? He was like, you can't just eat lettuce. And Saitama's like, hey, man, like, don't discredit lettuce. Like, you can put stuff on it to make it like taste nice. We don't need to go and buy more beef just because. And Genos is like, oh, so what you're telling me is that the special thing that I'm learning here is it's all in the preparation. It's not in the ingredients itself. And he's like always trying to find like the gold in what Saitama's saying.
That's
because,
like us.
Yeah, but yeah, literally, because he's like, he could be talking about anything, and he's like, and he's like writing it down in his notepad, because he's like, to him, he's like, I need to learn from you. How are you so strong? How are you so powerful? What is it that you're doing that I can do? And he's trying to learn everything. And Saitama's just going about his life. He's just like, I just trained hard. That was it. Like, and Genos is like, every little thing he says, he's like, oh, so you're telling me that the lesson here, master, is that it's all in the preparation. It's not so much in the final product. It's about how you prepare for it. He's like, okay. And he's like writing it down. And I love that, because he's just like, look at his listening for Saitama. His listening is so open that he's like, everything you say, I'm going to look for the best in it. You know, and our relationships with people change when we look for the best in what they're saying. You know, we give them the ear of, you know, let me listen to the best in you, and let me look out for that. Like, what can I learn from you? What are you teaching me? What's the gold in what you're saying? Relationships change massively when you start to do that, man. And it's like, that's I love that in the way they do that in the show, man, because it's like, there is gold in everything that anyone says. Like, if you can get something from someone talking about lettuce like that, oh, it's about the preparation, it's not about the final things, you can get gold from anyone.
One Punch Man, you know, there's that thing that they eat to become monsters.
Yeah, the monster cells.
Yeah, that's it. You know, like, there's that guy who eats a bunch of them and then he dies, but then he comes back and he's enormous. Yeah. And to me, it's a metaphor for, like, what the fuck are you, like, at what cost are you willing to attain power? What were you willing to, like, it reminds me of me when I was trying to grow my business in the beginning. 18 hours a day, I'm zero fun to be around, and I got a one-track mind, and fuck you. And I asked my mum about this. She was like, remember, I don't know if you heard her, I can't remember when she said it, when we went to India recently, she was like, are you just like this? I was like, what do you mean? She goes, do you just crack jokes all the time? You're just having a good time? We're like, yeah. She goes, really different to how it used to be, isn't it? Because in the past, it was just like that guy who wants to eat all the monster cells. I'm trying to get somewhere. And I don't give a shit what the cost is. Yeah. And I think that we do that in a lot of places. Like, at what cost do you want to get that promotion? At what cost do you want to make more money? At what cost do you want to have sex? You know, like, these are things for me that in the past I've been willing to pay stupid costs. You know, all my time, my money, my health. Not worth it.
Yeah, it's like, it's trying to take the shortcut, isn't it?
Yes.
And that's it. It's like they've got these potential to eat these monster cells, become way stronger. The cost is you're giving up your humanity. And
it's like steroids, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like you're trying to shortcut getting to a point because you want to feel something by being at that point. And again, it kind of comes down to what we were saying about Ghost of Tsushima in the video games. Like, if you're just rushing through the story, you're just trying to get to the end of the story. You're not enjoying the process of playing the game, of the experience. Like, it's a beautiful game, like picturesque wise, like, it's beautiful. Enjoy it. If you're just trying to take the shortcut to get to the end, or you're trying to, you know, have the cheat code so you can advance quicker, or whatever it is in relationships, in business, in work, careers, whatever it is, yeah, man, like, I've seen it when I've tried to do it with stuff. It's like, it just, you end up just like, A, not feeling that great about it, you know, and B, you end up just feeling like exhausted by like the chase, you know, whereas actually if you slow down to enjoy, and I had this when I started my business, like the first 2 years when I was kind of doing it part-time alongside full-time work, I was chasing so hard for like people to pay me, like chasing, it was exhausting. I remember I had a conversation with you and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna give up the coaching for now. You were like, why? I was like, because I don't find it that fun. Remember that conversation? I think it was actually on a podcast, or before we recorded a podcast with Anton. Shout out Anton.
Hey. And
and I was like, I'm not surprised. Look at the way I was approaching it. Like, I was trying to chase everything down, like it was a hunt, and I was trying to, you know, shortcut my way to going full time as a coach, and I was exhausted, and it probably wasn't that much fun to be in conversation with, because I was always like chasing something. And it's like, that's what I'm seeing. That this is the cost. There is like, you lose your enjoyment. You're definitely not being authentic within yourself, and you're not you're not just being you, really. Like, and that's a big cost. If you're not being yourself, like, there's no greater cost than that.
That's
in my
it, man.
opinion.